just pin this rubbery, you can see that little wing there, that's the lat, okay? You gotta be careful too, because you've got the subscapularis, which comes out of there, which is a rotator cuff muscle, but if you get more lateral, so the more outside you get, if you go too inside, it's a subscap, but if you stay towards the outside, you'll feel this like real ropey wing-like structure. G'day guys, Aaron and Darcy here from MMT. Gonna be taking you through a lat treatment video today, but if you're new to our channel, make sure you like and subscribe. We do awesome bodywork, strength coaching and sprinting as well, so you'll love our stuff. Anyway, come over here, Ninja. We're going to show you the lat. So this is the big structure that basically is the most superficial muscle in the back that leads up into the arm and the shoulder. And so what this muscle actually does is its main functions are adduct the arm, so bring the arm closer to the body, internally rotate the arm, so round like that, and also extend the arm. But I guess the functional anatomy of it, it's like a climbing muscle. So when our arm's raised above our head, it pulls our torso upwards. So imagine that action is what the lat does a lot of, okay? So if you come in here, even though it does everything for the arm, see how a lot of it is in the back? Sorry, Ninja, I'm getting you to move around here. So it actually is in the back to start with. So I'm gonna show you some face down treatment, side lying treatment, and face up treatment. So if you're a practitioner, you'll get some pretty cool stuff to work on with your customers. Yep. So I've got Darcy here as my lovely customer.
Yes.
How are you going today, Mr. Darcy?
I'm looking forward to it, mate. I've just gone and done a few pull-ups to make sure my lats, you can see them.
So as I've shown you, it attaches down to the spine and the pelvis on the thoracolumbar fascia. So this is a really white connective tissue that sits on top of all the lower back muscles. And yeah, this area here, it's really white because it has to kind of transmit and create a lot of force, and it's very important for the posterior oblique sling. This is a particular chain of muscles in the back of the body that helps propel us through life with walking and running, and the lat is a big part of that. The lat and the opposite glute max and into the leg. So what we're doing first of all is just using the heel of our palm, gliding it up the inside of the spine there. And yeah, just trying to warm these muscles up first before we start to do any kind of deep work into them. So when people have lat problems or arm problems, you know, the go-to is to go straight to into the arm itself. But sometimes if you do suspect it's a lat issue, it's important to go down here first and try and free up all this lower back, because by doing this, you can create all this freedom up here as well. So yeah, just not much wax on our hands or the body so we can create friction and purchase. But yeah, just slowly making our way up just to hydrate and create some blood flow in here. And before we do some deeper work, make sure Darcy's warmed up.
Feels bloody awesome, man.
Feels good. So the next one is to come down to the crest of the pelvis here, dig our pisiform, heel of our palm into here, and also warm up all the structures that are on the pelvis. So the first one was more the spine, and this one is more into the actual pelvis here. So yeah, just making sure the pisiform, the heel of my palm, is touching close up to the pelvis, and we're just melting along this structure in here. So Darcy's probably got a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. Feeling
pretty good.
Feels really good, man. It's so therapeutic. I love our treatment. Every time I'm so grateful to get treatment where we do videos, and it's all part of, you know, educating you guys and showcasing what we do, but it's good to receive it as well at the same time.
Agreed. It's good for us to receive it, to get empathy, because we do, if you're a full-timer at MMT, you're generally doing 30 to 35 treatments a week, or like, you know, customers in a week.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you're flat out and you don't receive the treatment, it just means you kind of haven't got that side of the table, you know. So sometimes you lose track of what you're actually doing to people. You need to actually receive it to be like, oh, that's what it feels like when I push into here. So yeah, we'll just do one more line through there, warming up.
You don't go and see the hairdresser that's got a bad haircut, do you? You got to, or the barber with a bad haircut.
Exactly.
You got to receive it.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is come over. Sorry to interrupt your video, guys, but we're just going to advertise our Patreon platform where we post every day, exclusive content, no towels, just us blokes having fun, treating each other. So if you want to see some MMT action every day, jump over there and you will be very happy. Yeah. On the table. And so we've warmed up the spine and the pelvis, and now I want to warm up as the lat comes out and fans up into the shoulder, it does have a lot of, I guess, connection with the rib cage. So I just wanted to show you some cool stuff with the knuckles and the fists that we can do to help the lat and just kind of create some flow in areas where it can get a little bit fused to the rib cage. Sometimes it can get a little bit stuck up here over these really bony areas of the body. So it's good to make sure that there's no adhesions around here. Now the lat as well, it's quite thin. So I'm going pretty deep on Darcy here, but not crazy deep, but I'm trying to make it more like fascial or superficial than we would if we were doing like a QL treatment or anything like that. So
yeah, you got to be a bit cautious of going over the ribs, don't you? Because if you're going too firm in there, I could tell already that I wouldn't be able to breathe properly. So this depth's just right. I can still inhale and exhale comfortably.
Yeah. The cool thing about the treating one on the ribs though too is you're kind of able to treat the diaphragm by pushing down on the ribs, and Darcy would feel that restriction to breathing, but it's almost cueing him to breathe into all these areas that he's potentially not breathing into. So yeah, it is cool to actually treat on bony areas if you haven't been doing it already. So yeah, Darcy's doing well with his breathing there. Taking it all the way up, and we can even start to come up underneath where the lat starts to get a bit skinnier and form into a bit of a bulkier structure around here. I'm just going to do one more with the forearm here.
Oh yeah.
So just hooking into the lower back there. There's probably a little bit of lower back stuff that Darcy's starting to feel there.
That's good.
But this one, I've got no wax on my forearm, so this is going to be a lot more friction based, a lot more fascial. But yeah, just taking my time to allow Darcy to receive that pressure. Doing good, man.
Oh, it feels really good, bro. And I guess it's a point of difference too, isn't it, man? Like a lot of the time we're treating, or you might just get treatment along the erectors and up the spine. It's always good just to hydrate the tissues that are, covering such a bulky part of our body.
Yeah.
Around
exactly.
the ribs. Oh, yeah.
So this is where it starts to fan out.
Yeah.
Just underneath the scapula there.
Oh.
So we'll just do one more there to try and catch more of the outside of the lat. That was more of the inside. So we can bring this elbow in or forearm in. You can see how I'm dropping down low here. If I was here, it'd be too much pressure going that way, but I want to take it up this way. So I try and get a little bit lower, make sure I've got friction, and then slowly take it up and over the ribs there. This is going to be quite a bit of pressure for Das. Keep breathing there, man. Keep breathing. Doing good. Nice work, man. And all the way up into that scap. And under there.
Good for the shoulder too, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people with the lat, because it does that's its kind of role. If it is tight, it can actually cause some jamming through there, so the shoulder drops down. So these strokes of taking everything up is actually going to be really good for these people. What we're going to do is one line of our lower back money spot here, just because we've done some superficial work now, so we can kind of go and do some deeper work into this area too, because sometimes the lower back money spot can be the key to unlocking some stuff further up the stream as well. So we'll just take our time in sinking in there for Das. Doing good, man. So just pinning in there, and we're just trying to trace that crest. Just wait for his tissues to melt a little bit. Digging in. Angling down.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And then I'm going to slowly take that out.
Oh. Heaps more referral pain on that one there. Yeah, it's still going. Oh.
Where do you feel that one going to, man?
Just down to the hip and
Yep.
into the front of the quad a little bit. Just, it's nice.
So just trying to almost unglue everything from that area there. So the last one I want to do is just some heel of the palm work onto the spine here, because yeah, as you can see, we'll come back over here, Ninj. Just seeing that it starts up there too and fans out. So if we can do some work right here underneath the scapula where it fans out, we can kind of pin the spine there.
Yeah.
Get a counter strain over here and then just take it across. Stretch out those fibers, working into the erector structures as well. All the way across. And around underneath the scap there. And we'll go down a little bit lower. So pin in there, the heel of the palm to the spine. Push out into where the ribs are and those erectors are. And then just go over those speed humps in a graceful manner without causing too much trauma. Realising the ribs start about there, so it's going to be a little bit of curry for Das. And then we'll finish by just dragging it out once again underneath the scaps there. And we'll go one more before we get Das on his side. So once again, just so you guys know, heel of the palm next to the spine, pin out into those erectors, let things melt a little bit, and then use the counter strain of the other hand to take that across. And then you'll feel a bit of a drop off to where the ribs are. You can bounce on those a little bit. And then once you pass that, then it's just, the ribs and the lats. And then you can make sure you just keep the friction and then just stretch them. Stretch, 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 stretch. Across. Awesome. So what we're going to do now is get Darcy on his side. So I'll give you a little pillow here, brother.
Oh, thanks,
There you go,
mate.
mate.
Look at that. That's where my feet were.
So what we can do now is, see how it gets a bit skinnier as it comes up here, Ninj? This is where it becomes a bit bulkier. So this is quite thin, and then when it comes up there underneath the armpit, it gets a little bit bulkier. And the way we can get into these areas is by kind of cradling your person's arm like this. Make sure you've got their arm. So I said this in another video previously, if you just hold their arm timidly, they're gonna feel like they wanna hold their own arm. So make sure you've got control, and it feels really nice for the person on the table when you've got that control here. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is, you can almost see the lat here. If you can see that as I flick over it, that's kind of all Darcy's lat, maybe a bit of serratus in there as well, but on people that have pain here, this is gonna be quite hypertonic, and you wanna take some tone out of this. So what we're gonna do is just pin the bulk of that structure straight down. Sometimes people can be quite tender in here because you're pushing into the outside of the scap and even the ribs. So I'll just see how Darcy's feeling in this position here. How's that, man?
So far, so good, man.
You're all right? Yep.
Therapeutic, it's nice.
Feels therapeutic? What's the sensation you're getting in that position there?
Just as you're moving, it's a little bit sharper, but right now it's actually quite nice.
Quite pleasant? Yeah,
Quite
it should just feel like therapeutic. You know, you might get some referral into the shoulder or into the arm a little bit, and there might be a few painful points from the ribs, but it should just feel like you're kind of pushing through a muscle that needs it. I've just flipped over something pretty good there on Dar, so you can see how I'm just slowly taking it down all the way, flicking over some things, and then we'll start again.
Oh, yeah.
Something up there, Das?
Yep, can feel that. Something in my arm. Oh.
Some good stuff in there.
Be really good for people that do bouldering or rock climbing.
Yeah, so
We've got a few of those here.
it's an interesting way to think about the lat in terms of it pulls the trunk up when the arms are above the head. A few spots there, Das, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So what I'm going to do now is just pin a bit on Das and not actually move my hand. What I'm going to do is move his arm. So I'm just going to hold that there And I'll slowly bring his arm up and try and stretch it that way. So sometimes you can move your customer's joint to get the release rather than you have to actually push through their body.
Yeah.
There's a bit there on Darso, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, daily pull-ups.
How many are you cranking out a day, mate?
No, a few, I don't know.
You used to be doing 50 a day, wasn't it?
I used to try and do 50 a day, but...
Oh, now that you're engaged, there's no need anymore, is there?
No, today I've done 30. Not every day as much. Oh. Yeah, might just become a larder.
A kitchen closet. We'll put the question out. Do you guys know what larder means?
Yeah.
I thought it meant fat, and Darcy thought it meant a kitchen pantry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully if they get to this point in the video,
Google it.
they can...
I'll wait till the response.
That was a good one, eh, Darcy?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to fret up now, like I'm easily more able to get through these little fibres.
Definitely, it's intense, like I'm sweating and I feel it.
Some good stuff through there, eh? And what you can do after you've warmed it up a little bit, I even feel like that's a bit looser now, just even holding Darcy's arm. You can trigger point these too, so if you feel like you've found a nice spot that you want to just pin, you can do some exploring through here in terms of where you want to feel. You think that Darcy needs some work, so what's that like in there, bro?
Yeah.
That's a spot?
Yeah, into the fingers and arm, forearm. It's nice, eh?
There's some spots in there, eh? Some trigger points on Darcy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's option there for you too. All right, so we'll get Darcy on his back now to finish. So hopefully you can see here, Ninj, but this is a little last final one that you can do on people where the lat comes up and attaches into the arm. It's really hard to access when it's in the actual part of the humerus where it attaches. But what we can do is just pin this rubbery, you can see that little wing there, that's the lat, okay? You've got to be careful too because you've got the subscapularis which comes out of there, which is a rotator cuff muscle, but if you get more lateral, so the more outside you get, if you go too inside it's a subscap, but if you stay towards the outside you'll feel this like real ropey wing-like structure, and that's the lat as it comes up into the arm. So sometimes it can get really hypertonic up there, meaning it's just there's so much tone here, there's so much dense tension that one way we can kind of release that tension is to just pin and then get the customer to move their arm in any which way that they feel like is gonna benefit them. So does that feel like there's a little bit there, Dars? That's on it, yeah?
Definitely. And as you said earlier, this is something I'm doing a lot to my clients, and now I'm receiving it, I really get a better understanding of
how painful it is.
How intense it is.
Yeah. And the good thing about like not being too direct with what you want your client to do, they can intuitively move their arm in the way that they feel like is going to be best for them, because sometimes you can tell them to go into external rotation and they just do that, but they kind of know that it's a different way that they should be moving. So you can see me there pinning it, and what I'm doing is just changing my pressure. I can pulse it, I can pull it out, I can kind of work it down side to side, but yeah, just keep moving it around to flush it and hydrate certain areas. So you see Darcy here, he's taking it into external rotation a bit, or even kind of that horizontal abduction there, straight down, maybe even above your head and go back into extension there, man. Whatever you feel like it needs it, hey. What's the best one for you, do you feel?
Yeah, when I come into down like that, I feel like it's really trigger point like, and then this way is a nice stretch. Actually, both ways is quite pleasant. They definitely
cool.
resonate.
Nice, man. There you go. So there's 3 different ways you can treat the lat, guys. You can do when your customer's lying face down, side lying, or face up. Just remember where it attaches though, all the way down to the lower back. It's very hard to get the insertion point in the arm, but yeah, there's 3 points there that we showed you where you can give a good treatment and hopefully get a result for your customer. All right, thanks for joining us, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe once again. And if you want more exclusive content, we post every single day stuff that's not seen on YouTube on our Patreon platform. So click the link if you want to go and see us over there so you can have a daily check-in. Thanks, guys.